YouTube. What is good, everybody? It's your boy Kai. We not finna make no long introductions, man. We got news to cover. The 2K23 builder has been released today, and we got a lot of information to talk about. Builds will take skill this year. Let me say it one more time. Builds will take skill this year. You are not making any demigods with this year's builder on 2K23, man. You have to do everything with precision, and you got to make some really smart decisions. So let's go ahead and get into the information about this builder, man. So first things first, we got our same body settings with attributes being affected by our height, weight, and wingspan. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much the same, but there is something new this year that I will get into in just a second, and it's actually kind of crazy. So you can max out your wingspan and still get pro dribble moves as long as you're 6'10 and below. If you're over 6'10, then your wingspan will affect your ball handle. But as long as you stay under 6'10 and below, you good. So after you take care of your body settings and all that, you got your attributes, of course. Again, the 2K23 builder is much more difficult than NBA 2K22. It's the most complex builder we've ever had. You cannot max out a bunch of different categories with this builder. Like Mike Wang said, you may want to specialize in something this year. You know, picking your role and having a team with a bunch of role players is going to have a greater impact versus trying to make a build that could do everything, because you can't even make a build that could do everything this year. So go ahead and get that out of your head. As you can see, we start off at a 25 overall in the builder, and just by maxing out your drive and dunk, that takes you to a 59 overall off the jump, man. So you're not getting ready to sit up here and max out a bunch of different categories. It's just not happening. I'm telling you right now, you cannot. It's just impossible to do. So of course, as always, our attributes are connected to each other. So we got even more attributes that are connected to each other. So like Joe Knows said, you got some attributes that are directly connected and you got some that are indirectly connected. If you raise your three-pointer up, your close shot will go up. And that's because if you raise your three-pointer, that raises your mid-range and your free throw, but your mid-range is connected to your close shot. So that's why that's gonna increase your close shot as well from just increasing your three-pointer. So you got a bunch of different attributes that are connected. You know what I'm saying? Another example, if you increase your ball handle, that's going to increase your speed with ball and a bunch of other attributes. So right off the jump, you have to be way more strategic when upgrading your attributes, man, because you can see in the footage right here of different builds being made that just maxing out one category already puts you so much closer to being at a 99 overall. You're not going to be able to max out a bunch of different categories. So let's go ahead and talk about the badge points and the new tier system, because there's a lot to dissect there. Your badge points are very, very critical. Your badges are still correlated to your attributes, but this year you can get certain badges without any requirements. So you wouldn't have to upgrade anything. It would just be a badge that you would be able to get. So hopping over to the tier system, man. So you got 3 tiers. You got your tier 1 badges, you got your tier 2 badges, and you got your tier 3 badges, which are the most valuable badges, and they are super expensive, man. They went up on the price on all of the really good badges, and there are certain requirements you have to meet to even get to the tier 3 badges. So you have to reach a certain number of points combined between tier 1 and tier 2 to even get to your tier 3 badges. So you have to hit 10 points combined between 1 and 2 to get to your tier 3 badges. If you don't meet 10 points added up between tier 1 and tier 2, then you can't even get your tier 3 badges, which are the most valuable badges. So, and that also ties in with the core badges, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But back to the tier system. So your badges in each tier level have different costs in those different tier levels. So to get a Hall of Fame badge in tier 1 is going to be 4 badge points. To get a Hall of Fame badge in tier 2, that's going to be 6 badge points. And to get a Hall of Fame badge in tier 3, which again are the most valuable badges to have, that's going to be 8 badge points to get it on Hall of Fame. So to piggyback off of that, there's even more with this new tier system. So badge tiers change depending upon the build that you're making. So let's say you were making a guard build and a big man build. The badges in those tiers are going to change a little bit. So here's the best way I can explain it. If the badge is not valuable to your build, it will be in a different tier. So for example, the example Joe Knows used, if you have slithery finisher for a big and a guard, slithery finisher is not valuable to a big man build. So that badge is obviously more valuable to a guard build, so it's going to be in a higher tier and it's going to cost more badge points for your guard build, and it's not going to cost that much for your big man build, and it's going to be in a lower tier. So if you made a 7-foot center and you were trying to equip slithery finisher, it's going to be like a tier 1 badge, versus if you made a guard, it's going to be a tier 3 badge and it's going to cost way more badge points for you to get it because it's more valuable to that build. And Joe Knows noticed that with this change in the tiers, that it's separated by height. If you have a 6'8" player and you're trying to get clamps for that build, then clamps is going to be a tier 3 badge for that build, versus if you have a 6'9" player that you're making, it's going to be a tier 2 badge. There are also multiple ways to unlock one badge. So let's take quick first step for example. This year you can now get quick first step by upgrading your post control or your ball handle or your speed with ball. Now getting back to these core badges. So if you don't know what a core badge is a badge that you can equip that does not go against your badge points. So essentially it's a free badge that you can get, but it ain't really free. So you get one core badge per category. So finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defense, but you have to be able to afford the core badge to even use it. So if you don't meet the tier 1 and tier 2 requirement of 10 points to even get to the tier 3 badges, and you can't afford that tier 3 badge, you cannot use it as your core badge. So again, this year the builder is really complex, and you're gonna have to really sit down and calculate how many badge points you want in a certain category to be able to get the core badges and all the other badges that you want to be able to use with that build. So it's going to take a lot of thinking this year, and it's going to take a lot of hours in the builder for you to try to come up with the best build you can, because that demigod concept is over. So those were the most important tips about the builder this year. You know, after you create your build, you can test your build, and they've added something new to that this year. You can now, so first up, you got more jump shot options to test out when you test your build. And they've put in a 3v3 and a 5v5 option for us to test your build. So park players, you can test your build out in a 3v3 setting. Pro-Am players, rec players, you can test it out still with the 5v5. So that's some of the most important information about the builder, man. Let me know your thoughts on the builder down below. Are you all glad that the demigod concept is pretty much gone and that builds are more complex and they're trying to make the skill gap better this year? Or do you prefer the old build system? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, man, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel down below. Be safe out here, and I will catch you guys with the next video. Peace.